Welcome to the All Jammed Up podcast presented to you by Music Never Stopped. Today is Thursday, December 18th, and today on the podcast we have Kyle Hollingsworth.
Well, we're all jammed up and we're ready to blast. It's time for Clint Chloe's Music Podcast.
Good morning, fools. Welcome to the All Jammed Up podcast. I'm your host, Clint.
I'm your co-host, Chloe.
And today on the podcast we have Kyle Hollingsworth from the String Cheese Incident.
Super fun one. Opens up a cool new door of people we can kind of tap into now.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, you get a few, you've gotten a couple guys from the Mountain Grass unit. I guess we just had one and then the whole band, but a couple guys from Cosmic Country, a couple guys from Dogs in a Pile. And those are up and coming. I guess now they're pretty much here, but they're still up and coming in the whole world.
In the grand scheme of things.
In the grand scheme of things, yeah. And then you have guys like String Cheese who are kind of pioneers of the jam
super
band world.
established.
Yeah, really early on, laid the groundwork, I guess.
Yeah.
For this kind of music. So to get it in with those guys and interviewing someone like Kyle Hollingsworth, who's a really unique guy, had a lot of stories to tell. Really cool. And you haven't listened to this interview yet, have you?
No, you were editing it yesterday, but I was over on the couch.
Yeah.
Hard to kind of.
So he talks about he moved to Colorado, and when he joined String Cheese, he was like, I just thought I was joining a band,
Yeah.
And the rest of the band was like, no, we're about to do this thing.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's a really cool story, and it's just kind of an interesting idea. You join this thing or you start doing this thing and you have no idea what it could take off to.
Yeah, and then think about looking back on when you join and where you are right now and your multiple festivals deep.
Yeah, and not Halloween and Electric Forest are two of the
prolific
biggest festivals. I mean, at least to me, I guess.
And to create such a huge I don't want to say following, but
community, a legit community. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you about they kind of pioneered that. Just that way of doing music and events and community. Super, super awesome. Super grateful to be able to do that interview in general. Just a very cool one. Very honored.
Yeah, we've gotten some really great people in the last little while, and it's really encouraging for me, seeing these people. Next week on the podcast, we have David Gans, who's Sirius XM, Grateful Dead guy, been around the Grateful Dead since 72, and just to have these guys who have done so much, want to be a part of this thing is just really cool and encouraging. And
yeah.
You talk to guys like Kyle, and you see when he joined it, he was like, I didn't know what I was signing up for. He was like, I could make the same money. I forgot what he said, working at a print shop or doing music every night. So I did that, and it's turned into this whole thing for these people, and it's just really, I guess, encouraging is the word. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Also, who's the cheesiest? This is our second cheese-related interview. Who would you say? We have String Cheese Incident and Grilled Cheese Incident.
I would say Grilled Cheese Incident
Is cheesy.
Yeah, because if you're calling String Cheese cheesy, but they maybe
more cheesed up.
I love cheese. Cheesed up in the club. My pocket's cheesed up in the club. I got blue faces. That was a rap. I just made it up. It's pretty good, huh?
You've been on your rap shit lately.
Yeah, you know about me.
If you saw Clint's Instagram story from right now, it's just now, but from the other day, he's a 3-ball juggler.
Butthole smuggler. We've been getting wild on the podcast.
Hell that
lately.
means. Yeah, we've lost all censorship.
Yeah, we're TVMA.
Soon to be. I'll stop.
Yeah, what was that all about? That was crazy as hell.
Yeah, I stopped myself.
Alrighty.
Really didn't.
Honey, you're listening to some all jammed up.
Alrighty, guys, we are here with Kyle Hollingsworth of the String Cheese Incident and of the Kyle Hollingsworth Band. How's it going, Kyle?
It's going well. It's going well. We got our first snow here in Colorado, which is a little bit late, but it was nice to wake up to some snow. I was actually in Mexico yesterday on the beach, and this morning woke up to snow in Colorado.
Were you in Mexico for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, first time I've been out of the country my entire life. And I'm only 22 years old, as you know. And my entire life, all 22 years, I've had it in the United States. And this is the first time I took my whole family down there. And what did we end up doing? I think tacos, and it was just nice, something different.
Nice. That sounds like a nice time. You mentioned only being 22 years old, and I don't mean to say this to make you feel old, but I was doing some
But
research. I was doing some research before this interview, and you joined String Cheese Incident the year I was born.
there you go. How old are you then?
I turned 30 this April.
Turned 30. Okay, that makes more sense then. Maybe I'm older than I think I am. Sorry, I had to put a hat on. My hair is looking a little crazy. Yes. So String Cheese, I think it's joined in 98 or 99. I'm not sure what year.
Well, we got to
Somewhere
get
along there.
whoever's in charge of your Wikipedia page. We got to tighten it up.
Tighten it up, exactly. No, yeah, but I joined a Cheese many years ago, and it's been this one big adventure.
Yeah, I want to talk more about that, but we'll get there. I want to talk more about your personal projects and your new album, All We Are, that just came out. It's a couple months out now, but
Yeah.
I want to get to that. But before we do all that, I do kind of want to rewind because you grew up in Maryland and then you just moved to Colorado. So, like, is that correct?
Yes, I grew up in Maryland, and I moved to Colorado, I think in 93.
Okay.
93.
And
Yeah.
did you know that like music is what you wanted to do at that time, or like what was your relationship with music before you moved to Colorado?
I'd always been playing music.
Okay.
I think my first band was when I was like 8 or 9 or 10, right somewhere in there. And it was just me on like a little Moog synthesizer and a Wurlitzer piano, a sax player, and a drummer. And we would just play on the front porch to all the passing cars because that was our first audience. And they would all honk, be like, hey, I'm sure we actually have those tapes, ironically. I should release those tapes.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, my dog, you can hear my dog barking in the background whenever there's a saxophone solo. So yeah, I was working on music ever since I was a kid, and then I got my little 4-track, which is kind of like an early version of Pro Tool, like a basic recording.
Okay.
Um, and then you could just take your cassette player and you could record. And once I could start like, layering sounds on top of other things, then all of a sudden I was like, this is next level. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So this synthesizer, was that the first instrument that you messed around with, or were you like
Right. Boy, that's a really good question. No, I bet like that was, because I had a Wurlitzer piano, like an old, like, I have one here somewhere in the studio, but it's like almost like one that a teacher would teach piano lessons on in a school
Mhm.
specifically. And so we had a grand piano at home. So my first was grand piano, and then Wurlitzer was cool because Stevie Wonder was playing it, and the synthesizer was cool because it had like bass sounds and had like you could like make it sound like a helicopter if you put like a bunch of noise on and had the LFO going or
Yeah.
sound wind, or it was just like it was cool to be able to create sounds because when you play piano and a Wurlitzer, it's very static. Like this is
Hmm.
the tone I'm getting versus the synthesizer at that point in my life was like, man, I'm creating sounds on the spot. This is new to me.
Yeah. And where was there like a certain music that you were wanting to play, or like that you were listening to a lot that you wanted to play, or were you
Mm.
kind of just like in an exploratory stage that young?
No, I've always wanted to be probably like the Beatles or at that point it's probably the Cars or
Nice.
the Talking Heads. I was always into like I want to be a rock star because
Hmm.
at first I was an actor. I was a young actor, and I did some commercial work and some stuff when I was really young. So I always wanted to be kind of a character and be on stage. And then yes, so I think I had a vision of what type of music I wanted to play for sure. Had to be slightly organic. It could, I wasn't really into '80s pop at that time. I wasn't really into like Duran Duran or any of that stuff. But if it was like the Allman Brothers or something, or my brother was listening to the Grateful Dead, and I was like, that's cool. The fact that they're able to kind of improvise off each other and it doesn't sound exactly the same.
There was no like 80s synth pop or synth rock that kind of like appealed to you at that time?
I mean, I was like, Cars definitely was up there. Uh, Greg Hawkes, I think that's his name, the keyboard player. What was happening? I guess there was Kraftwerk out of Germany. Daft Punk was probably just starting. I don't know. They may not have been around yet. Um, I mean, there was some, but I feel like a lot of the synths were being used at that point for kind of like flock of seagulls
Hmm.
and stuff. I was like, man, just get some normal hair and like write some songs that have more groove and less drum machine.
Okay.
So I was always kind of leaning towards the more organic stuff.
And then as you grew older, so like let's say like high school, college, did you kind of have an idea that like this is what you wanted to do your whole life, or was it still kind of just like playing around in bands?
Good question. Yeah, no, I think I, my brother told me one time to go to college and major in something that you enjoy, and then figure out what you're going to do for a living later. Like,
Hmm.
in other words, make your education at college something that you can really get into. So out of high school, I've been taking some jazz piano lessons, and my jazz teacher was the professor at my college, so he kind of helped me get in there. And then from there on, it was just a like, whoa, I guess I could do this. I guess I'll keep playing music. And then all of a sudden, I said, fuck all that. I'm gonna move to Colorado and be a forest ranger. So after being like in, I think I was before I even left Baltimore, I was in like 25 bands and throughout the years. And then I was like, no, I'm going to go out to Colorado and be a forest ranger because I was really into being outdoors.
Hmm. Had you
And
been
then of
to
course, when I
college?
was out here, I ran into a bunch of music people. You know,
Had you been to Colorado before you moved out there, or was it just you kind of felt called there?
I had been out there. I'd worked out here. I worked on the Colorado Trail when I was younger.
Okay.
My I just gotten on a plane. My mom said she had friends there. I went to Denver and then helped build the Colorado Trail when I was like 16 or something.
Nice.
And I come out with my mom camping a few times. It just somehow felt like the place to be.
Nice. So you moved to Colorado, you said in like 92, 93, and then
Yep, yep.
somewhere in between that, you get linked with the string cheese incident. I,
Yeah, and I was like, what kind of name is that? Like, what kind of band? Like, I thought Flock of Seagulls was bad. I mean, come on now, String Cheese Incident. Um, and of course, they had never told me what the name means. I still don't know to this day. I probably do. I don't know. I'm sure they told me at some point. Yes, I was playing in some bands, and one of my bands, Dirt, Durt, was opening for String Cheese at the Fox Theater, which is a local theater here in
Mhm.
Boulder. And I'd known Kang through some friends, and Kang said, "You want to sit in?" And I said, "Sure." And I've been sitting in with String Cheese since '93. I never stopped sitting in. In fact, I had to, after that gig, they said, "Do you want to come and do a short tour with us?" And I said, "Sure." So I went on and did like a 2 week tour, and that was kind of it.
So you weren't like, you didn't like help form string cheese. They were already a band and you joined in with them.
Exactly. It was a
Okay.
4 piece band, and Kang was kind of like, "Hey, we should get some keyboards." And then I was already kind of knowing through the right circles and the right places that he just invited me to join.
Okay. And I want to talk about string cheese a little bit because, they're not, string cheese isn't a band I've listened to a whole bunch. I started going to Halloween back in like 2021. So
Nice.
I see string cheese, 6 times a year, but just there.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I have a lot of friends who are like really, really into string cheese, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just like not my thing, I guess. Everyone kind of has their own thing,
Yeah,
and that
I
wasn't
get
the
it.
first one I attached to. But I know like how much you guys have done for the jam scene and how unique and how much the band has evolved. So I just kind of want to hear the journey from like your point of view of like when you joined, what were you expecting, and like looking back on it now, like is it everything you thought and more, or is it like we still have more work to do?
Right, right. Uh, when I joined, I basically joined. I was pretty young, probably 23 or something, and I was like, I can work at a freaking packaging store like Pack Mail or Mailbox, etc., or I could get paid almost the same and get to play music every night. And I was like, forget that. I'm going to go play music. So when I joined, I didn't really have aspirations of it being that huge.
Hmm.
They did. The people in the band, though, had a thing like Travis and all the guys in the band. Like, no, we're in it, and we can feel the energy around the band. We can feel the energy of the crowds and the buzz that's starting to occur because we're kind of early in that jam scene.
Yeah.
Not early. I mean, Grateful Dead were there, but Fish had probably been around for 3 or 4 years. They weren't like as staple as they are now, and they were still playing smaller places. So we're still kind of there with us, and like Widespread was kind of coming up, and it was all around the Blues Traveler, the Horror
But
Tour.
all such
So
unique sounds too between these
yeah,
bands.
yeah, so like definitely a Southern sound, even with Blues Travelers to
Mm-hmm.
some degree. But I joined the band with no ambition of becoming as big as we did. But the band members, the other guys in the band, were like, "No, I think this is the right time to hit it." And so they were kind of on it. I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm just a keyboard player." And then once I got it, I was like, "Oh shit!" We went to the first East Coast tour. We got this bus, like an old school bus, and drove all the way to the East Coast from Colorado. It took us 26 hours or something. And we got there, and people were outside waiting to get in already. And I was like, how can somebody in Burlington, Vermont have heard of us? And back then you had tapes. I have some of the old tapes here. And here's one actually right here. Um, and people would ship it to their buddy and be like, check out this band. And then when the band came to town, there was already kind of a buzz, and you'd sell 75 tickets just before you've even gotten there. They've even seen you.
Yeah.
So I knew at that point it was starting to happen. And then we would start circulating, and every time would be like another 50% more, another 50%
Mm-hmm.
more. And, it just kept growing and growing. And then I was like, oh, yeah, now I see it's happening. Now it's my career. I see what we're doing.
Yeah, and the band has such a unique sound, and like it might be like a kind of a reggae feel to a song. It might be like an Irish jig. It might be kind of a heavier
Right.
song. Do you have a sound that String Cheese has that you like the most? That's the most fun for you to play?
Um, the last song. No, that's a Billy Nursery quote. What's your favorite song of the show? The last one. No, I would say mine is probably more the funky stuff, the medium tempo funk
Mm-hmm.
stuff. My piano's not up and running, but like more just like I've always felt like when I think about influences in my life, I'm thinking about Bill Payne from Little Feat
Okay.
and Dixie Chicken, and kind of like the blues New Orleans thing. So whatever that falls into is really just fun to play on keyboards. The meters, that sort of thing. So that whenever we hit that part of the set, I can always kind of I find my groove.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the phonetic bluegrass stuff, it's like I didn't quite get it. I mean, for me, like I grew up, in Baltimore, so I wouldn't listen to a lot of bluegrass. But I've learned to appreciate it, A, and B, be challenged by it, which is always great to be challenged and keep my chops up. But yeah, I think the more the funk stuff.
Yeah. And then now that we're like, you talked about when you first joined String Cheese, it was kind of like, I don't know what this is going to become. But now, like, almost, 30 years later, looking back on it, like, you guys were, like, in some sense, a pioneer of, like, the jam band scene. And, like, is that
Early
some,
on, one of the
yeah, and, like, you've gone to, like, create this whole genre of, not create, but, like, be a big part of this genre of music. And, like, you're creating this world for people to live in, like, places like Halloween. How like crazy is that feeling knowing like that
Mhm.
you were just a dude who moved to Colorado and joined this band and now it's like all this has unfolded. Did you ever imagine anything like that?
No, it's really special, and I feel super blessed. I feel really honored that people, you know, trust us enough to bring the experience. Whether it's
Mhm.
even like we helped establish Electric Forest, which was one of our original.
Mhm.
We actually started it on the West Coast. It was called Hornian's Hideout, and then we brought it to the Midwest. And the first year was called Rothbury, but it was the same idea. Hammocks, in the trees, disco balls, cool, badass art from, Burning Man and other artists, and make a place where you could see show, but also have some sort of connection to nature and or not be stuck in a freaking cement parking lot. Like a
Yeah.
lot of us saw the Grateful Dead by the time we saw them, they were already like playing giant stadiums. So you had to put your tent on like a freaking parking lot at RFK Stadium or wherever it was. And there's like people doing nitrous next to you and you weren't sleeping. And we're like, that sucks. Let's get a better experience. So we very purposely went out and said, let's build a festival or an experience of music, whether it's our music or whatever music you're listening to, and make it awesome for people where they actually can get sleep, but also connect with people and be in a setting that's really organic.
Yeah, and Halloween is such a special, like the venue itself, Sewanee, and there could be
Right.
nothing going on in Sewanee, and it would still be a great place to hang out for
It
5
is. It
days.
is actually. Yeah.
But with the music and like, there's so many of these events that are jam band heavy or bluegrass heavy. But what makes Halloween so unique, and again, I think it relates to the music that you guys have because you're not just you can't put string cheese in one genre. And that's what makes Halloween so special. Is like you have the EDM acts, you have the Sunday bluegrass all day. Then you have the
Right.
like this year there was like it was Balthus, Parcells, like all these
Yeah.
like global
Yeah.
groups. So like that's what I love the most is like, hey, if you like string cheese, you're probably gonna like these bands here. How
Right.
intentional is like the picking of the bands for the lineup for you guys?
Somewhat us. I'd say over the years we lost some touch of that. We put people in charge of that
Hmm.
represent us, but we don't. We didn't choose the bands.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of what is going to sell tickets, what is unique enough. You know, well, that's why we get in this even with Electric Forest is like how much EDM do we want to be involved with?
Hmm.
But what I love about Halloween, it has a little bit more heart in that way, a little bit more of the original vision of what String Cheese wanted, which was everything from bluegrass to EDM.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and like I said, I've been there. I'm not gonna miss a year, so keep doing it. I'll be there.
yeah,
um,
we got to keep going.
going to getting away from string cheese and kind of the Kyle Hollingsworth band and some of your own personal projects. All We Are just came out a couple months ago. While we're
Yep.
still talking about Halloween before we get to it, I want to address the song Carnival. Is that song
Yeah.
about Halloween?
No, but it is about the early years of string cheese because we would travel around in this kind of carnival type scenario where we'd
Hmm.
make hula hoops in the back of the bus and then we'd hand them out to the people. And then every show was a unique event, and our bus kind of looked like a giant circus bus. And so it was part of this whole rolling carnival that was string cheese. A little different now with all the tour buses, but yes, that's the song. Carnival is about festivals, about
Okay.
the early years.
Yeah, and on the Wook telephone too. It's a rumor going around that string cheese invented like hula hooping at shows. Is there
That's
truth to that?
probably true. That's
Okay.
actually probably true. I own that a little bit more, I think, than maybe other band members do, um, because I feel like it's something super unique. Um,
Hmm.
Not me personally own it, but I think I kind of feel like that was a string cheese, um, something we brought to the scene. It was for sure. We would, no joke, have kind of nightmares of this. Someone would be driving the bus and we're going around corners, like, let's say we're in the middle of California, like, ah. Meanwhile, the far back of the bus, this is like a school bus, right? There's we would buy these giant things of, what would it be? PVC. I guess it must have been PVC. And we would get them together and we have a glue gun kind of like while we're going around corners trying to get to stay together. And we have this like pipe fitting in between. And then we, over top of that, put tape. And then sometimes if we got really fancy, we'd actually tape them up. And we'd show up with at least a dozen or so to every show, whether it was Telluride Bluegrass Festival, or whether it was anything we were doing, a High Sierra Music Festival.
Hmm.
And we would hand them out to the fans. And then that became our signature. So I'd say we definitely helped bring that to the scene.
Okay. Yeah. Fun fact. The more you know.
Yeah.
But back to All We Are. I know this
Yeah.
is a special project for you. It sounds like you really, from like what I've read online, you really are passionate about songwriting.
Yeah.
And does
Yeah.
getting yeah, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
So like getting that opportunity to do like your own project where I'm sure with String Cheese, it's more of a democratic when it comes to songwriting. But when you have your own project like this and it's kind of like all your own creative energy can just be into this one thing. Like how does that process work for you and why is it so important to you?
So important to me, and it really, and I realize it now because every album has a cycle, and I'm kind of going through this cycle of this album, but I'm already starting to miss because String Cheese is starting to do some writing actually this week, but it's going to be very similar where Billy brings in a cool song, I'll bring a cool song, everybody will bring in songs, and everybody gets to probably have one or two songs on an album. But I've been writing so much, and some of the ideas work, but some don't. But I want to kind of put them all out there. But for me, I feel like I can't walk into a String Cheese songwriting session like, okay, here's 10 songs I just wrote.
Hmm.
They're gonna be like, whatever, dude. I mean, you can bring in one or two. They have to kind of be very democratic. So for me, I was like, dude, whenever I write, this is my fourth or fifth album. I'm so psyched to get together with my core band, my solo band I've been playing with for a long time, and we get together for like 4 or 5 days for 8 hours a day, and I'll just chart out some songs. I'll just play grooves. I want to kind of this one like Carnival kind of came from a Bruce Hornsby groove. Like I want to sound like this. Okay, here's this part. All right, and then we work on that for an hour, and then we'll work on some other cool piano or it's organ. Coming On Strong has a really cool organ part, and then we all kind of work together, and then I take it all home, and then once they go away and do their thing, I spend the next year. That's the best part. It's kind of like painting or something. I can get the colors I want in the right order and make the picture come out pretty well. You have to walk away from it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you come back and you're like, oh, that's what needs to be in that hole right there. Because when you're in it too much, that's the cool thing about having like 10 songs in a row. You can just take a break from one and dive into it. So for part of it is the geekiness of me being involved in Pro Tools and the producing of things. I like producing. But also part of it is just the excitement of having all the fingers in the pot, not like just one finger with string cheese. You know?
Yeah, and
being like,
is it the lyrics you like writing more, like being able to express yourself through like words, or is it the sounds and like being able to express yourself through just like different types of music and the production, like you said?
production. Lyrics. Anybody out there who wants to write lyrics, I'm in. I wrote with Robert Hunter, who did a lot of writing for Jerry Garcia. I wrote a tune with him, and it's so much easier for me to play the music and have the lyrics there, like Elton John does, you know. So, yeah. So for example, the song "All We Are," the title track, was a color at first for me. It was the mood. I wanted to be a little bit like Death Cab for Cutie, and I kind of had a song in mind, but I didn't want to like steal it directly. But I had this idea of like a ride cymbal going, and like the reverb where it was going to sit in the mix, and then it would move to the left, and then I wanted like not much keyboards. I wanted some heavier guitars, but keyboards in it. So it becomes this like palette, you know. And so that song in particular is my indie rock tune. I wanted to sound different than Carnival, which is kind of like a string cheese, fun Bruce Hornsby song. I wanted to go a little darker with that one.
Okay. And I've heard Michael. You just mentioned like colors and a mood, and that helped you write a whole song. I've heard like a quote of Michael Travis saying the same thing about like colors relating to the music. What does that mean to you? Like what colors are what when it comes to music for you?
I like that question. I guess bright, like Carnival in my mind would be bright.
Like yellow and
Yeah, I mean, like it has a melody, had like, real kind of like an up melody. It's kind of like a bright, kind of almost like a jig. Almost, I wrote it almost like a bluegrass song, and so that has like an upbeat, the yellows and the oranges and the all that sort of thing. But then All We Are now is like a kind of B minor thing. It has a little bit darker blues.
blues. Okay.
What is that? Like the Plums. You know what I'm talking about? Will Ferrell. You know the one
I'm
with
not familiar with that. I don't think.
plums. Just nice blue purple hue. But yeah, and certain songs have like also my solo band's a little bit more of a rock band, so it's nice to kind of dive into that outside of string cheese. So that tends to be a little bit darker. Tends to be like more like my first band I was ever in. One of my first bigger bands was called Black Friday, and it was kind of like Joy Division meets the Doors. So I've always kind of I'm from Baltimore. I have a little bit more edge, and I get to kind of explore that part of me and that those colors in me with my solo band more.
Yeah, that's cool. Growing up in Baltimore, I grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia, so
Nice.
not that close, but kind of the same in like certain aspects. So like what kind of music were you listening to when you talk about like that rougher side?
Those early years probably,
Like Agent Orange, stuff like that, Bad Brains?
Well, it's funny because my band was Black Friday, and I don't think we opened for Bad Brains. We opened for a couple big bands. The 930 Club in
Okay.
DC.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of, was heavy, man. It was badass, you know. But I was born and raised a Quaker, so I was like, oh, let's totally do something completely different than when I was raised. So I was listening to, like I said, Joy Division, or what else was I listening to? A lot of that. I don't know. It's just, for me, it was just fun to kind of go in some different spaces than I've
Yeah.
been raised. I'm psyched. Like, it was cool that I was able to do the Beatles and the Grateful Dead thing, but there's always been an edge.
Yeah, and writing with Robert Hunter wasn't your only connection to the Grateful Dead. I know that probably everyone listens to this podcast likes the Grateful Dead in
Right.
some way or another. And I know that you're connected to the Grateful Dead through a project you were in with Mickey Hart too, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I did a project with Mickey Hart, and it was George Porter on bass, and then I did a project. I was Phil Lesh's keyboard player for basically a summer, in '99, and then we all kind of got a connection through, you know, uh, Cheese went to the West Coast early on, and we spent some time there. And I feel like our vibe fit really well with the West Coast. I always felt like there's
Hmm.
a what is the rapper East versus West? Who was the two rappers that were kind of
Tupac and Biggie?
East? Yeah, 'cause I always felt like there was a East Coast Grateful Dead scene, or Fish, or Widespread, Humphreys, kind of like this heavy, and then the West Coast was like Jerry Garcia and Flowers and Rainbows and this Jefferson Starship, you know.
Hmm.
So we were kind of more in the flowy West Coast thing. So we went back east, and we were well received, but it was definitely like people were huge Fish fans and Mo, and they were like, "This fucking rock! You guys, none of this, all this like pretty stuff." And so we're like, "Oh yeah, East versus West." So we fully would go West Coast. So with that in mind, we connected more so with the Grateful Dead scene pretty much right away.
Yeah.
Like, Mountain Girl came out, and a lot of the Zen Tricksters people at that point were part of the scene, and they brought us in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so anyway, so I'm moving away from All We Are. Yes, so the album, my new solo album, has elements, and I think that's the point of the name of All We
Mm.
Are. It's kind of almost like string cheese. You have to wait a song. Maybe the song doesn't resonate with you, what the next one does. So here's the funky instrumental. This is cool. Oh, now it's going dark again. It's like the colors moving in and out throughout the
Yeah.
whole album.
Yeah, I like it coming back to colors again because, it seems like something that you understand so well to you, but when I ask you to verbalize it, it's still like kind of hard for you to do without the music. And I think that's just really interesting to kind of get a glimpse into how your brain works so musically. And then when it's like I can't even really explain it, I just have to play it for it to make sense. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
So will you do any tours with just the Kyle Hollingsworth Band coming up for the album, or did you guys do that before?
We did that. I have some really big shows, really big show coming up at Cervantes, which is in Denver.
Hmm.
I would call that a second album release. I did one album release already, and I did some tours in the Midwest, and I did some tours in the East Coast for the album with my solo band. Then we have some Denver show and Fort Collins show, which will be kind of the front range shows. Um, so Cervantes is going to be amazing. I've actually hired a horn section and a couple of background singers, and Killer, the percussionist the drummer from Thievery Corporation, is playing with me.
Nice.
So that'll be really fun. So I think there's the next upcoming shows, and then of course I'll do some mountain shows.
Yeah, I
around that too.
saw that you were in Asheville because I live here in Asheville, and I saw that you were out here sometime earlier this year, and I think I was out of town the weekend that you
Yeah,
guys played
yeah, I forget there was something. Yeah, it was
in April, maybe something like that.
April, something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
played it with a cool room right there.
yeah, you was at Asheville
Um,
Music Hall, I think.
yep.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, I
Here
was
and
just
there.
there last night.
Nice. Who's playing last night?
Fruit. Have you heard of those guys? They're from Atlanta.
Not yet.
They're
Should I
good.
be?
They're funky. It's a six-piece band, and the lead singer is a girl, and she doesn't play any instrument. She just sings, and then she dances when they're in their jams, and it's just like
Nice.
a really funky thing that they got going on. And I think her being on the stage, not singing all the time, and dancing, kind of encourages the whole crowd to dance. So it just gets everyone's always
Oh,
getting
sweet.
down. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Speaking of though of newer bands, who I know we've talked about like these Mo, Humphreys, like these older guys that are, been in the scene
Right. Yeah.
forever. Who are some of these new bands that are really catching your ear, people that you get excited to
Who are these
see?
new guys? I let me think about this for. I like Neighbor. Do you know Neighbor?
Mm-hmm.
Neighbor, Ricky's a great keyboard player, singer. I did a tour with them. We did the Midwest tour with them.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Neighbor, of course, you have Dogs in a Pile. I'm digging too. We do something called. I don't know if we're going to do it again this year, but we did it last couple of years. We went to Vegas and we put together we didn't, but
The
it's like
Bender
a big
Jamboree, that
jam.
one?
Yeah, Bender Jamboree. Yeah, thank you
Okay.
for the name. Bender Jamboree. So when I go there, that's like the best time to see all the new upcoming acts.
Yeah, that Dogs in a Pile, man. Anyone that listens to the podcast is probably sick of me talking about them because I love those guys.
You got Pigeons. You got of course you have Goose, which sounds great. I've been following them for a long time. But yeah, if you want, I think you need to send me some more. I kind of know
Okay.
the ones that are. Basically, I know the ones that are in the satellite of
Yeah.
Halloween or Bender Jamboree or things like that. But the ones that may be a band that's growing elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like what it is, honestly, is the cool thing. But when I was growing up, it was the taper tree that we talked about
Yeah.
earlier. Like I wouldn't necessarily know to go to some cool Spotify playlist of some new jam bands if no one sent it to me. Versus like if my buddy has sent me a tape of like check out this band, I put it in. It's like a little different, it's a little bit more personal. When you got something from your best buddy and moved to Colorado, check out String Cheese, and you're like cool, and you put it in. There's got to be. I wish there's a more efficient way to do that. I guess
We
basically
have
playlist would be the way to do it. I
my
guess, but
girlfriend and I. So my girlfriend like is a co-host with me for this podcast. I do most of the interviews,
nice.
but we do an intro and outro together. And every Thursday we pick song. We each pick a song of the week and put it on a playlist, all jammed up songs of the week. So check it out. Maybe find some new music you
There you
like.
go. That's the mixed tape,
Yeah.
right? That's the mixed tape.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've been talking so much about music though, and I do want to learn just a little bit about you outside of the music. I know that you're huge into the outdoors, huge into brewing too. I actually just partnered with a brewery here in Asheville to make an all jammed up
Sweet.
beer. So like I
Nice.
just want to hear about some of your brewing experience, some of the projects that you have, and then what you like to do outdoors.
Brewing's been part of my scene for a minute. My brother, like I said, was really into the Grateful Dead, so I got into the Grateful Dead. He liked smoking pot, so I got into smoking pot, and then he started brewing beer, and I was like, dude, that's cool. And it wasn't. I was like 18, so I couldn't even really legally drink what I was making. But what got me on it, I think, was more about the process. Was the
Hmm.
thought that just like music, all these different elements come together, and what comes out at the other end is something more beautiful than just the one single individual or one element by itself. So then I got into this. I'm not big into cooking, but I did like the recipes of trying beer. I hated to wait for it though. That was the bitch part because you never know. You make this beer, especially when you're 18, and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to sterilize this thing. Now the whole batch, like you spent like freaking 2 days making or whatever, is gone. So I got better at it. Once you get it under your fingers, kind of like playing music. Once you got
Yeah.
it under your fingers, you start getting better at it, and you're able to riff or improvise off of the recipe. So the recipe is some funk thing I'm playing on the piano. Once I have funk generally under my fingertip, I can kind of riff and improvise and make something cool and new. Same with brewing beer. I feel like I got pretty good where I can probably make an okay one. Now let's have fun with it. So we would add weird adjuncts, whether it's like sassafras root or I've done like orange peel. I've done so much. Um, uh, Pine needles, and like, okay, if you put too many pine needles in, it's going to really suck. So you got
Yeah.
to figure out what the right, you don't have too much funk going on. It's got to be a little, because you have too much funk. Well, maybe there's no such thing as too much funk. But yeah, so for me, it was always about the process and the experimenting with it and taking your time. And of course, I like drinking it. These days, more so, though, the other people make it so much better that I homebrew very infrequently.
What's your go-to beer? Are you an IPA guy, a sour guy?
IPA guy, although I just got back from Mexico and I forgot how much I like lagers like, Negro Modelo. I was like, man, it's so much lighter and it doesn't like weigh me down and it's less like heady. And so I was like, shit, I should find some good lagers in town. But yeah, IPAs are probably my go-to. And there's some really great places, of course, here in Colorado. And I've done, over the last 10 or 15 years, I've probably done 40 collaborations around the country
Hell yeah.
with different breweries. And some of them go national. I made one with Sierra Nevada that was national. I made one with Stone Brewing Company that went national. And national meaning like in stores.
Mm-hmm.
Made just one recently with Four Hands Brewing Company. It was up and down the East Coast. So when I get together, sometimes we try to just do it for one gig, or sometimes we try to do it for, a larger audience. But it's fun, man. I just like going in there and messing around. And I'm in there. Like, I'm not just talking it. I'm like, I go in there and we create the recipe together, and then I'm shoveling all the grain out, and I'm helping drop the hops, and I'm helping bottle and getting beer all over me. And I'm fully in. I'm ready to be there for them. It isn't just to show up.
What's like the beer you're most proud of that you made?
That I've made? Oh, that's a good one. That's a good question. Recently, honestly, the beer I made with Four Hands, it was for a string cheese incident concert. It was and they're based out of St. Louis, somewhere in the Midwest, I believe. It was really good. I've made, out of the 40 beers I made, probably 20 of them have been good. And this one was one of the good ones.
Hey, 50%
Sometimes I was like,
Hall of
I
Fame
should have been
numbers.
more involved. What's that?
50% is Hall of Fame numbers.
Exactly. So yeah, the most recent one was really good. And I think the one I made with Stone was pretty good. We put elderberry in there, which is a little weird. But let's see if I have a bottle here. Hoopla was pretty good. The SCI beer I made one time was good. Here's the one I made with Stone. It was called Collective Distortion. It was made with me and Alice Cooper's guitar player got together. Made that.
They always have cool art, Stone.
I know, right? And this one was made locally, SCI IPA.
Oh, nice. That's
Oscar Blues. So yeah,
Oscar
it's cool. I have
Blues,
my little
Asheville.
Hall of Fame. What's that?
Is that Oscar Blues, Asheville?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Asheville, totally. That's right. They started out here, but I forgot. That's down there, and so is
Sierra Nevada.
Tell me. Oh, Sierra Nevada, and then the big one. Come on, I made my very first beer with them. Humongous, New Belgium, right?
Yep, you got it.
And that was my first. And that was probably 15, 20 years ago. I made my very first collaboration brew with them.
Nice. And then
so that's what I do.
Play piano, make beer. And then you're also big into outdoors, right? Are you like in the hike, paddle board, mountain bike? What are you doing out there?
All that stuff. Today I was kind of pissed, even though I was excited to get some snow. I was like, that's screwing my bike ride today. You go to Mexico and you're like, Mexico is awesome, but you kind of sit around all the time. It's like, I need to exercise. And so I got home, I was like, sweet, it's going to be like 60. And I woke up and it was 17 degrees and snowing.
Oh.
But there's not even enough snow to go skiing or sledding or anything. So it's just like one of those days where you're like, why is it 17 degrees? You can't go outside. But yeah, so I like to, I'm in Colorado, so it's fun. It's a gorgeous place to recreate.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I haven't spent too much time in Colorado. I really need to get out there because all the bands I love are out there too. But I mean, don't get me wrong, the Asheville mountains are nice, but I've seen...
Oh, dude, that's right. You're in Asheville. Duh.
Yeah.
So you guys have great stuff out there.
But not like, they're not big like Colorado. I've been out there a couple times, and every time I'm there, I'm like, whoa, this is different.
Man, I don't know, man. Asheville's badass too, though. And Moog was there. Moog is there, and then they kind of get bought out, I think, didn't they recently?
Yeah, I don't really know. I've only lived here for a little over a year now, and I got here right around during the hurricane. So a lot of stuff has kind of changed and all that, and I'm still getting familiar with what was here and what wasn't here before I got here.
Yeah, String Cheese played there. It was what is the top of the hill there? Where the monument is, and there's that little restaurants, kind of where it all comes together at the top of the hill.
Downtown?
Right. Yeah.
Pack Square?
Whatever that little... Yeah, right about there. If you go down one of the sides, String Cheese played a place called the Orange Peel, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Or no, it was called the something, the Exit Inn or something, and we would go to Asheville, and that was one of our stops because it was in the Kind tour, like as far as the
Okay.
California kind of hippie vibe. So we ended up in Asheville a lot.
Nice. Well, you guys need to get back out here.
I know, right?
I do want to see a string cheese like show, like a solo string cheese, like not a Halloween show, but like I want to see like a touring string cheese show.
Yeah, I don't know why we're not there. I think we played the place that got washed away,
Salvage
unfortunately,
Station.
Salvage Station. So I think we're looking for a new spot.
Yeah, I
It
think
might
they
be actually
just
coming out.
announced the Salvage Station's gonna do an indoor venue in the same like neighborhood over there in the River Arts.
Yeah. I think I have my schedule somewhere. I think there might be one coming up, but we'll see.
Keep my eyes peeled for it then. Well,
All right,
Kyle,
man. Well, thank Clint, right?
yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Clint.
much for coming on. This has been awesome. I'm excited to catch string cheese at some point. Maybe we can do this in person another time. But
Right on.
before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to plug?
Just if anybody's in Colorado, late January 30 and 31, I'm playing here in Colorado. And if you haven't checked out All We Are, my new solo album, definitely do it because it's unique and it's cool and it's different than String Cheese, but you'll find a place for you somewhere along the journey, along the color scheme of All We Are.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, thanks so much, man.
Thanks. Nice, Glenn. Take care.
You just got jammed.
Welcome back from that interview with Mr. Hollingsworth. And
Ooh,
if you haven't
Kyle.
yet, go stream his solo album, All We Are. I really liked it. I took a listen to it before I interviewed him, and I thought it was really good.
Oh, I'm gonna need to check that one out.
Yeah,
I
a few
didn't-
good songs on it I actually really liked.
Yeah.
We talked about that one, Carnival. I really liked that one. And there were some other ones, so I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah.
Hell yeah, that's sick. I'm loving these solo debuts and branch outs that a lot of these musicians are doing at the Myeongmyeon.
I feel like maybe I mean,
They probably have, but
it's probably easier now to do it than it's ever been before, too.
you think so?
I mean, you can just upload straight to streaming now.
Yeah. I could make a solo album.
You could. Shit, Snoop did.
Maybe I might.
What you got for us today?
Oh, I want to talk about how fun it's been seeing Kendall Street tour with Frasco.
That did look like a lot of fun.
That I saw Lewis do a stage dive,
Yeah.
crowd surf. They just look like they're having so much fun, and they deserve to be fucking elevated and put up like that. They just look like they're having a good time.
They are the best. And if you didn't see the post and you haven't listened to the last couple of podcasts, the All Jammed Up Fest has been announced. July 18th and 19th, 2-day event.
2 days, 2 stages, so many bands.
Kendall Street will be headlining Saturday. Secret Hollow will be headlining Sunday.
Mm.
And then we got a lot of other little surprises in
We
there.
got a lot of little nuggets coming your way, but I mean, those 2 to begin with should sell you off the rip.
Yeah, and tickets are going to be cheap.
Yeah,
They're going to be cheap.
yeah.
I'm practically giving them away.
Some might say too cheap, but we're still learning.
I'll give them away. My wife won't let me. It's a little Joe's Auto plug right there.
Joe's Auto.
There used to be this like commercial. I don't know if it's just a Virginia Beach thing. But
Aquarium.
it was like the guy's name was Little Joe's Auto Sales, and there's like a radio commercial, and I was like, I'd give them away, but my wife won't let me because his prices are so cheap.
That's cute. It's like on tires, where they had to give away all their tires. They bought too many.
Yeah, that's the premise. That's the premise. What else do you come prepared with today?
Truthfully, Clint,
Oh my goodness.
I'm really sorry.
My assistant here,
Well,
the vice president.
okay, so what I was gonna do, and I just never got around to finishing it. Flea, I mentioned it on the last podcast, did an interview with Rick. How do you say his name?
Rick Beto.
Beto. And I have like a couple notes, and I was gonna do a run through on that, and then I got hit with the SAD this week, so I didn't really do the things that I was meant to do. I kind of just sat around.
But we're back.
But we're back, baby. We're feeling gold as ever.
Old as ever.
Yeah, the blue is gone, the gold is in. So maybe next week. It's like an hour and a half long interview, so
I
I'm gonna
watched
listen
the
to
clip
it.
on Instagram, and it was just about Flea talking about like being weird.
He was a weird guy.
He was like, just be weird. He was like, if you think it's weird, but you think it's cool, or if you think it's cool and everyone else thinks it's weird, it means that it's cool. Just do it.
Yeah, so I actually have that quote written down. Hold on. They were talking about the first kind of music he started listening to was bebop because his mom was dating this guy and he was like a bebop musician. And
Oh, bebopper, huh?
and he said that when you hear something the kids are doing and the kids love it and it's the dumbest thing you've ever heard, that's what you have to pay attention to because that's the revolution. Which
I don't
think
know what
is
6'7" means.
Dude, I said it the other day somewhere. This is like the first generation where I am not in on the jokes. I feel like I've been in on them up until now. And this one is just like over my head. And I think it's just funny because they're numbers. I don't think there's like a punchline to it.
I think it's just everybody telling everybody how tall I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not laughing. This is them being so scared.
Yeah, I don't know. Look it up real quick. You got your phone in front of you. Let's do some research on 6'7".
Yeah, but it's kind of a sad day when 6'7" joke. When you realize that we're no longer in it.
Let me see it.
Well, why can't I read it? Is a viral internet meme and slang term that is intentionally nonsensical and largely without a fixed meaning. So they just be making shit up.
Damn, that's kind of fire. I fuck with that.
They just be doing stuff. Like, I feel like our stuff used to at least have meaning. They're just making jokes without meaning now.
That's what they do, man. They come and they get you.
They come and they go and they come and they go.
Alrighty. I want to talk about Billy Strings this weekend. Played in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't watch the show, and listening to the show, I only listened to Blue Virginia Blues on down to the second set. I had like 40 minutes at work, so I was like, I'm going to start there because, as you guys know, I love that song, Blue Virginia Blues. And I saw the picture of them just sitting on the couch, and I'm not saying I have an opinion either way or either one's right or wrong, but imagine you get a ticket because your friend tells you, like, there's this guy named Billy Strings, he like rock and roll bluegrass, and you go and he just plays all these, not even slow songs, but like, you know, old time, just.
That's 38 songs.
And that's just like, they're not, like I said, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened to Blue Virginia Blues on down, and he adds a little Billy Strings twist on it, but the like psychedelic with the lights, like that's a big part of the show, you know?
Yeah, but I also think he does respect the traditional, and I think he does like to pull that out every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just, so this was my hypothetical question.
Mm-hmm.
You've never been to a Billy Strings show. Your friends are telling you all about it. You go. This is the one you go to. Do you think you're still like, and you don't like bluegrass, you know, you're just going because
you're still like as enthralled, as excited. So I do agree looking at this. Is this like night 1, night 2?
I think this is night 2.
Looking at this,
it's a Sunday.
I do like church.
I think you're allowed to do this on a Sunday too.
I do like church.
I mean, he's allowed
to
do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever the hell he wants. But I get what you mean. But I was thinking about it the other day. He does. I was watching. I think he was playing "Meet Me at the Creek," and
let's look up his. Go ahead. Sorry, let's look up his.
I was like, how often can you bring that amount of energy without it feeling forced? Like, there's got to be a point where Austin, Texas maybe is a weird place to do like a kind of raggy.
That was more my thing too. Like, you think like if you do that in like
you do
Asheville,
that like
the Ryman, Louisville,
Mississippi.
But I guess also that's kind of just like is Billy, like he can do that, you know, he can go out and just play that. But so looking at the night before though, Red Daisy, California Sober, Rundown, Away from the Mire, New Country Blues, Show Me the Door, Don't Be Calling Me, Dust in a Bag, Yo to Lily. He did go hard the first night.
Taking Water.
Smoke that cigarette.
Richard Petty.
So I just was thinking that today when I was...
And then ending with a Meet Me at the Creek. Yeah, so I mean, he went jammy day one. But like I was saying, how often can you be so high energy, so long jams,
I agree, yeah.
ecstatic light, and like have that energy feel authentic? Because I feel like I had noticed that it had been kind of a while that he had done a more... feel like since that last kind of gospel Sunday he had, maybe at the Ryman it was.
Yeah, it was.
It's kind of been a while since he's had a Down to the Roots show that
I
I've
love
noticed.
it, but I'm just thinking like
For the people in Austin, Texas who came to kind of show out.
But I guess he did that thing.
And they were sat on a couch?
I think they were like, I saw like a picture of them all just sitting down around like on a rug. They were all, and I think even Royal had like an electric bass.
Interesting.
It was funny though, because like I said, I only had like 40 minutes for the end of work, and I was like, I saw Blue Virginia Blues, and I was like, let me listen.
Let me hop on that.
Blue Virginia Blues, Way Downtown, Shady Grove, Dark Hollow, Cora Is Gone. That was my first time hearing that, and then Little Maggie. Like that's.
Honestly though, as someone who likes a lot of these songs,
I would love a set like this.
Pretty
yeah,
impressed and happy, and this would probably be a very huggy, lovey set for us.
Yeah, what I'm saying here is nothing at all.
Yeah, like you're allowed to do that.
I'm just wondering, like, if someone was there, who knows? Like,
what was the energy?
What would your if that was your first Billy show? Like, what would your we'd be like, I'm not going to another, or like that was really cool. Like, I'm just curious. Like,
how did you perceive the people around you taking it as well? Because I mean, like I said, when I say 38 songs, that's a shit ton of music to play. So like, he wasn't jamming. He was purely singing the songs as they were, it seems. I do think Austin might be a weird place to do that. But I don't know the culture of Austin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't think Austin has like a bluegrass thing?
Austin's thing is keep Austin weird, so I feel like you would want to be kind of kooky crazy.
That's so many cities though. Like Portland's keep Portland weird.
Gulfport,
like there's a bunch of cities that have that.
I know, but you're allowed to.
Yeah.
We're kooky.
Did we have anything else that we needed to talk about? Big Friday here in Asheville this weekend.
What do we have? Oh!
Fireside Friday and Saturday, but also John Stickley on Friday.
Are they playing together? We have them both
No.
in. Oh, rats.
Stickley's at Eulogy, and then Fireside's at Brevard.
That's why it was I thought it was one opening for the other, and I was like, that's a fucking fire night. And I think tickets were, $23? That's why I was so amazed.
John Stickley did announce he's playing at those caverns that we saw Kindle Street in next year.
Oh, that'll be beautiful with the trio.
Yeah, with the trio.
That one might be fun to go check out. Very beautiful. That's something to keep an eye on. We will be at Fireside Collective this Friday, and then we're driving up to Nashville for some family time. I got a fun ornament. When you pull Santa's pants down, his wiener comes out.
Wiener. Another wiener joke for Chloe here.
Ooh, keep a tab, baby. How many wieners can I spell?
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I mean, I like just talking.
I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Do we have any big shows coming up end of the year?
No. What are you guys doing for New Year's?
Yeah, so I had thought about Sneezy and Future Joy, because I don't think we're going to be able to get into the String Dusters show. And I work New Year's Eve day from 7 to 7, so that like gets me home right at 8 when everything is starting, so I can be local to Asheville. If you've heard of anything past String Dusters and Sneezy, maybe if there's something EDM-y that we know about, maybe we should reach out to Parker, see what he's doing.
Yeah, that's true. I work the next day though.
That's a shame.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have a hot take here on Reddit that I just found.
Ooh, hit me.
I guess it doesn't really apply to us though, but attending jam bands concerts is incredibly boring, but playing jam band music is incredibly fun, much like baseball a lot of the time.
Opposite. Attending the jam band concerts was what make it fun. If you just listen to jams, like I have a couple saved songs from Eggy on my Spotify playlist. And I do really like Eggy. I think they put on such a good show. I love the energy when I'm there. I can't really listen to their songs. I have like 2 that I will listen halfway through and then switch it over, 9 minutes in and then switch it. But I think it's the other way around. I think the concerts are what's fun.
I agree, yeah. I agree. Sometimes I don't want to hear like a 25-minute jam when I'm listening to music, but at a show, I definitely want to see it.
At the show, yeah, because the energy is different. I want to live in the moment.
Someone said, I think you may be referencing improv comedy. End of the year wrap up mega thread. I saw a lot of shows this year, and Cervantes remains my favorite spot. We need to do that. Go there one day.
Where's that?
Denver.
Oh, I need to get to Denver. Yeah, absolutely need to get to Colorado.
One of these days we will.
We'll find like a 2 or 3 day something.
Maybe we can hit it on our way back from Wyoming or something.
Interesting.
There's an idea for you.
Yeah, we'll take a look on that. If you guys know of anything, what time of year is that?
The summer?
May?
No, like August.
August. Around August time, around Colorado. We want to get out there. There's like 3 sick venues out there that I have my eyeballs on.
You guys thought we were going to forget songs of the week, didn't you? Well, we did.
Turns out we did. But we're back.
We're back. We wouldn't leave you guys hanging. So real quick, Chloe, go ahead first with your song of the week.
My song of the week, good when it's hot, good when it's cold. We're going with Sugar Shack by Freedom Junction.
Ooh.
It's a song I'll always reach for. One that always gets me in a good mood. I circle it back about 4 times each time it comes on. I go,
really?
Repeat. It's a feel-good song for me.
Is that originally Freedom Junction, right?
I think technically, yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard
So we'll
otherwise.
put the well, Donato plays it a lot, so I didn't know if
the Sugar Shack. Yeah, but I think it
was his
it's a
song
Sugar
first.
Leg
Yeah,
song,
it's definitely
right?
a Sugar Leg song, but I didn't know if I don't know. So mine is there's a guy named Gregory McLaughlin, and
Shouts out, Greg.
he's been a podcast listener from the very beginning, and every single Monday night for like I don't know how long it's been, he does a live stream on YouTube where like, and he just does it with, he either has a stand-up bass or like, is it like an acoustic bass? Like I don't even.
Yeah. It's not electric, but it's like like a big, I don't know, an alto bass. I don't know
Anyways,
the verbiage of it.
He
but
does like a solo concert every single Monday night, like without fail. And he reached out to Chloe and I a long time ago, asked us to check it out. So a lot of times on Mondays, Chloe and I watch Kill Tony, which starts at 9, and his thing usually starts at 8 on Mondays.
Yeah.
So we would tune in, we'd watch a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's a good buffer for us before Kill Tony.
Yeah, and like he does a good job, keeping people engaged with just the bass guitar, which I feel like is kind of hard to do. But he does
and he does originals, and he does
a lot of covers too. He does requests sometimes. But when we first started listening to it, there's always this song that he would play, Little Janessa. And like, Little Janessa, it always gets stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And he just released I think it's his first album, like solo album, this like debut solo album. And it's on Spotify. So I'm going to put Little Janessa on the playlist this week.
It's deserved, Gregory. You're the man.
Catchy song. Shouts out Gregory. I mean, I do this podcast twice a week, and I know like, it's important to me to like stay on top of it, make sure I'm doing it. Even if no one listens, I still want to have it for myself done. And I'm sure that he feels the same way about his weekly concerts, and that's a grind too. Mm-hmm. So shouts out Greg. Congrats on releasing the album. And hopefully some people can check out Little Janessa and the rest of your album.
Yeah, and tune in Mondays, 8 p.m.
On YouTube. TGIM.
TGIM.
I think that's what it's called.
Is that? I think that. Yeah. You're right.
Okay, back to your regular scheduled programming.
Thanks.
Alrighty, you ready to wrap up?
Sure.
Alrighty, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. And remember, wherever you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be.
Well, all jammed up, hey, that's where it's going down. Best damn pot in this old Asheville town. More than enough old stories to go around. And I'm all jammed up right now. Yes, I'm all jammed up right now.